Hi, everyone. We are joined by Leonard Ellerbe, the CEO of Mayweather Promotions, who is getting ready for another big event with superstar Tank Davis fighting Frank Martin June 15 at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Amazon Prime pay-per-view. Leonard, it's another big fight for Tank against Frank Martin, another great top-ranked contender for Gervonta as he fights for the first time since his dominant knockout win over Ryan Garcia. Let's get into it. Why was Frank Martin the perfect opponent for Tank in this fight coming up?
Well, Frank's a very good fighter. He's a very good fighter, and out of the Tank chose him. Tank chose him. He's one of the top guys in the division and has been for quite some time. So it should be a very good fight. Really looking forward to next Saturday night.
Absolutely. What is at this stage of his career? I mean, what is Tank looking to prove? He's been at 135 pounds for a while. Obviously, he could be collecting more belts, but what is Tank's motive at this stage of his career, and what are you looking to execute for him?
Well, he wants to prove to the entire world, which I already know he's the best. He's the best fighter in the entire division. And he's definitely one of the best fighters in the entire world. And once he wipes out the division, you guys, all of you guys will come to the same conclusion that I've been come to. Tank's the best fighter in the entire world.
Absolutely. He's already in one of the top ranked pound for pound fighters. That knockout win over Ryan Garcia really put him there, in my opinion. But the question is, how long do you think Tank stays at 135 pounds? There's still a lot of big fights for him to be made in the division. Do you see him wanting to clean out the division?
Most definitely. He has a hit list, and he's going to get every one of these guys who y'all say are the top guys.
Mm-hmm. You put it in air quotes. I know him and Shakur Stevenson, they've been going back and forth with each other. It seems to be marinating pretty well, as they say, and timing seems to be perfect as well, too, because Shakur's about to be a free agent. Could you give us a little glimpse as to what you guys are willing to do to make that fight next for Tank Davis?
Well, it's not a matter of that. Tank's focus is solely on Frank Martin. That is, in my opinion, this entire card is the biggest fight card of the entire year, and he's ready to go next Saturday night. Is only what the focus is about.
Now, definitely Tank is focused on Frank, but could you give us a glimpse of what the potential of Shakur could lay later this year?
I'm not putting no timetable on any of that kind of stuff. Obviously, like I said, the focus is Frank Martin. But trust me, Shakur's gonna get that work. He asking for it, he gonna get that work. But it ain't what he think it is. It ain't what he think it is. I can't wait for it to happen though.
I think that'll be such a great promotion. I think an old school throwback promotion, and you've been involved in some of the best ones throughout the Floyd Mayweather era. I see you wearing your 50-0 shirt, and as an honor to him. How do you see Tank getting to that level too? I know he has about 27 fights right now. Do you see him getting all the way up to the 50 mark?
No. Tank won't be boxing that long. There are not enough top guys out there to make that happen. He has a set of goals in mind, and his goals are to get the guys who y'all say the top guys are, get them out the way. He's gonna ride off into the sunset.
Mm-hmm. With this fight against Frank Martin, you've made your predictions so far on social media. You're predicting a stoppage win. You're predicting a dominant win. Why do you feel so confident, specifically for this fight?
It's a great fight. Styles make fights. Frank Martin, he's a very good fighter. He's got good skills, very athletic, good speed, solid power. And again, he's slick. He's a slick fighter. And I like the matchup because, one, He's one of the top guys in the division. He thinks that he can beat Tank. He thinks that. He ain't fucking with Tank, though. I promise you that.
How has the promotion been for you? I know Errol Spence is your guy. He's promoting Martin, of course. How has that been? Have you and Errol been exchanging some trash talk behind the scenes?
No, not nothing behind the scenes. That's his guy. He's supposed to back his guy. And I'm backing my guy. I'm backing my guy 1,000%. 1,000%.
Any friendly bet? Maybe an expensive dinner after the fight?
I haven't spoken to him. I saw him at the which fight that was? It was at the Pitbull Cruz fight. I saw him and we spoke. But I haven't talked to him since then. He know what time of day it is next Saturday night. Again, them two are gonna figure that out on Saturday night, and Tank Davis is gonna stop Frank Martin.
I love the confidence, Leonard. I want to also gauge your confidence on how confident you are Tank could be fighting someone like a Devin Haney or a Shakur, a Lomachenko next. Do you see that kind of a fight happening for Tank?
All these guys who you guys say are the top guys out there, Tank gonna get every one of these guys. He just can't fight them all in one night. He done already got Ryan Garcia out the way. Next is Frank Martin on the hit list.
Obviously, PBC has been working with Riyadh season now. While we see it on the August 3 card, going to be a lot of PBC related fighters. I'm very curious. Tank and Turkey Al Sheikh, they've gotten a little back and forth as to what a potential partnership could look like in the future. Have any conversations taken place with Riyadh season to make sure one of the biggest superstars in the United States also fights on headlines one of his cards?
No, there have been no conversations. Again, the focus is just really about this huge event next Saturday night. Tremendous card from top to bottom. You got David Benavidez taking on the Nail, and he's moving up to 175 pounds. Again, to show the fans in the entire sport why he's one of them top guys out there. He's very exciting. That should be a very, very good fight. Obviously, the fans have been wanting to see him and Canelo get together, which I don't think that fight is totally out the question, somewhere down the line. But he has a tough opponent in front of him next Saturday night. Then you move on, and you got one of the most underrated guys in the entire sport with Antuanne Russell. He's taking on Puello, and that could be a very, very entertaining fight. And in my opinion, Antuanne is probably the top guy at 140 pounds. The world just hadn't seen that. I would personally favor him over every last one of those 140 pounds. And you start with, you can go from Teofimo Lopez to Haney to Garcia, Matias. In my opinion, he beats all those guys. He just hadn't got the opportunity. And this is a big opportunity for him next Saturday night on a humongous platform to show why that I personally feel as though that he's the top 140 pounder in the entire world.
Again, June 15, Prime Video pay-per-view. When you talk about Antuanne Russell, 140 pounds, the boxing playbook is usually you might want to feature a potential future opponent on the undercard. Could we see a Russell Tank Davis meeting sometime down the line? Well,
Tank Davis campaigns at 135 pounds, and he actually can make 130 pounds. Okay, Antuanne is a terrific fighter. He just hadn't had the opportunities that some of these other guys have. But I fully expect him to go out there next Saturday night and dominate his opponent, who's a very good fighter himself, and then make his mark and show why, again, to back everything up that I'm saying, that none of these guys are raising their hand in the 140-pound division to fight him. None of the guys, because because they all know that he can fight his ass off. They all know that. Every last one of them. They say that Matias is the boogeyman. He ain't no damn boogeyman. He's not no boogeyman. He just hadn't got those opportunities to fight some of the guys who they think, is the top guy out there. But I would pick Gary Antuanne. If those two fought him and Matias fight, I would pick him to stop Matias.
Wow, that's a pretty big statement. I know we're going to see an up close look at Matias on June 15. Actually, he's going to have to be fighting for some eyeballs with the Tank Davis fight going on that night. But I'm very curious, Leonard. David Benavidez as a co-feature. You got two of the sport's biggest knockout artists tag teaming on this night. This is a pretty big co-main event as well, too. David making his light heavyweight debut. Why was it important for you guys as you continue to build Tank Davis into becoming the star that he could be, or an even bigger star that, when we're talking about ceiling? How does the David Benavidez pairing help him in that regard?
Well, this is what you guys want. You, along with the fans, y'all want to see the best fights that are possible, the biggest names in the sport. And again, this is a terrific, terrific card. Again, David Benavidez is a main event fighter. We all know that. But it's a great opportunity for him to fight on the same platform, same night, that the biggest star in the entire sport, the face of boxing, Tank Davis. Tremendous opportunity for Benavidez because he knows all eyeballs are going to be on that particular card because the return of Gervonta Tank Davis. He knows that. So it's a great opportunity for him to continue to showcase his skills and show why he's one of the top guys in the entire sport. He's definitely one of the most exciting fighters in the entire world. And this card right here, you got the two most exciting fighters in the entire world fighting on the card. So it's a win-win for the fans. And then when you throw on Antuanne Russell taking on Puello again, and then you got Carlos Adames coming back, the Dominican star, ready to go out there and show the world again why he's the top middleweight that's out there. Again, this is from top to bottom, this is just an awesome, awesome card. And I'm just really, really pumped for this.
You talk about Gervonta Davis, face of boxing. Him and Canelo like to go back and forth on that one, on who indeed is the face of boxing. Do they need to get into some kind of an arm wrestling match to see who could stake the claim? Why do you say you see the business behind Tank? Tell us why you believe wholeheartedly that Tank is the face of boxing.
Well, when you look at this younger generation, there's one name that consistently rings everywhere, and that's Tank Davis. He's the most exciting, the most dominant fighter in the entire world. He gives the fans exactly what they want. When he steps in that ring, he ain't looking to go in there and dissect the guy and take his, well, he does take his time, but he's not looking in there to go in there and win a unanimous decision. When Tank steps in that ring, he's looking to get your ass up out of there. He's gonna run you up. If you don't belong in there, he's gonna run your ass up out that ring. And that's exactly what the fans want to see. When you tune in for a Gervonta Davis fight, you're gonna be sitting on the edge of your seat because at some point in the fight, he's gonna get a knockout. At some point in the fight, he's gonna get a knockout. And that's why it'll be no different come that Saturday night. Although Frank Martin's a terrific, terrific opponent, and we know that he's coming, he's gonna lay it all on the line. He has one of the top trainers in the entire sport, Derek James. He's got Earl Spence who's backing him. Obviously, Earl can't fight for him. But again, Earl chose him to work with him because he's a very good fighter. And those two matching up next Saturday night is going to be nothing but fireworks. And like I said, with the rest of the card, the fans, they're going to get more than their money's worth. When you have Tank and David Benavidez, same night, same price, it gets no better than that.
and they'll be fighting for it's the 100th event at the MGM Grand. That was the home of Floyd Mayweather throughout, and that's what Floyd made the MGM Grand what it was over the at least in the 2000s, in the year 2000s. Very curious, Leonard. A lot of back and forth between Floyd and Tank. Could you just provide some insight as to what all the back and forth has been about, and what the health is of the relationship overall?
Next Saturday night on Prime Video, monster card. Again, headlined by none other than Gervonta Tank Davis. The fans have been anticipating his return. He's the most exciting fighter in the entire world. And when you add David Benavidez on that card, boy, I tell you, same night, same price, huge.
Could we expect to see Floyd Mayweather ringside for this one?
Tune in next Saturday night.
Absolutely. Tank's been holding camp in Las Vegas. You're obviously based in Las Vegas as well. Have you gotten an up-close look as to how camp has been going for him?
Yes, he's in terrific shape. He came to camp. His weight was right where he needed it to be. And he's just been maintaining, getting stronger and stronger, locked in all the way. He's just ready to go next Saturday night.
We talk about Tank. He's a 135-pound fighter. You say he could make 130. We've seen guys like Marvin Hagler. He finished his entire career as a middleweight. Do you see Tank just finishing his career as a lightweight, like just taking on all comers, old and new?
I can't answer. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry about that.
Absolutely. There's also been a lot of discussion about a Ryan Garcia rematch, but it feels like that rematch is probably passed by at this point, just because of how big Ryan continues to get. I mean, he's talking about being a 154-pound fighter pretty soon. Has that train just passed us? Should we never even consider a rematch at this point?
Repeat that again. I didn't hear you, Manu.
Yes, absolutely. So with Ryan Garcia, he's always been calling for a rematch versus Tank. But, Ryan is also getting big. He's talking about being a 154-pound fighter. Should we just not even consider or talk about a rematch at this point? Has that train passed us?
Who knows what the future might hold. It's been the biggest fight in the last, how many years now?
Since 2018, it was the first one. It was the first pay-per-view that crossed 1 million.
Since 2018,
the Canelo Triple G rematch.
The third fight?
Second fight.
The second fight. Yeah.
So it was the first. It was the first fight.
Well. Yeah. In an exhibition, Floyd, it did shortly, a little bit under Tank and Ryan. But you're exactly correct. So it generated a lot of great business. Who knows what the future might hold? Ryan's still a very good fighter. Who knows?
What do you make of the Ryan Garcia situation? Obviously, he dominated Devin Haney, but the win has come with a lot of asterisks. You've been in the business for well over 2 decades at this point. What do you make of the entire Ryan Garcia situation? And if you were Team Haney, how would you handle it?
I'm not Team Haney. I really don't have an opinion because there are so many different things that have floated out there. And honestly, I really hadn't been focused on that. My focus has been on this card and making it as big as possible. So that had been my focus. I don't condone anything that remotely PED related. Don't condone it at all. Again, I don't really have all the details. You hear one thing, you hear another. I haven't never known Ryan to be a cheater. I don't want to label somebody like that when I don't have all the facts. I don't personally have the facts. There are a lot of different things out there. I'm sure at some point they'll have a hearing and the commission will determine, make make a determination based upon the information. The one thing I can say is that sometimes when things come out, people are quick to jump to a conclusion when they don't really have all the information. And I personally still don't have all the information, and honestly, I don't really care.
It was a good fight, but it doesn't appear it lived up to the blockbuster success that they were thinking. And they unfortunately fell short of some figures that Tank has put on at the Barclays Center where they were headlining. What do you make? You speak a lot about the business of these big fights and making them at the right time. What do you make of the fact that it didn't live up to what Tank Davis has done in the same venue?
Well, with all due respect, none of those guys they're Tank Davis. None of those guys. Ron Garcia has proven that he's a star in the sport. He does generate very good business when he's out there. He's definitely a pay-per-view commodity. The fight probably did what I had anticipated it to do. It's only one Tank Davis. I can only say that all those guys are good fighters, and I don't actually know what the final number was, what they did in the pay-per-view. I didn't even bother to even, get into any of that. I know what they did at the live gate, pretty much what you can anticipate. I knew that from the business side that whoever did the ticket scaling didn't know what they were doing for that particular event, because the tickets were definitely overpriced, and that's just not my opinion. The public determined that, because along with some of the stuff that was going on, a lot of people probably thought that the fight wasn't going to take place. Well, for whatever reason, it didn't do the business I'm sure that they probably had anticipated. But both guys made money, and at the end of the day, they feed their family and move on to whatever next that they're doing, the next event that they're doing. But none of those guys are on Tank Davis level. So I would never compare none of these guys to Tank. I've been telling everyone that all of them are good fighters. All of them are good fighters, but as a whole, when it comes to Tank inside the ring, doing his thing and generating the revenue, there's only one Tank Davis.
You guys have had a lot of back and forths with the Haneys, especially throughout that promotion as well too. They took aim at Floyd. There was a lot of back and forth between Bill, that sort of stuff. Well, is that a beef you would like Tank to settle in the ring with Devin Haney?
Devin's one of the guys that is on Tank's list. He's one of the guys, and it'll be what it'll be when that time happens. I've been saying all along, none of them guys can beat Tank Davis. And I'm gonna stand on that, and I'm convinced that all these guys will get that opportunity at some point. At some point, can't put a timetable on it, but all those guys, y'all say that all those guys are the top guys, and all of them are very good fighters, but none of them can fuck with Tank.
When you walk into your office, Leonard, you talk about Tank's list. Is Tank's list on your bulletin board? All those names just listed for you, or you just have to knock them out one after another? Can you share who those names are?
No, they're not on. They're not on no bulletin board of my list. This is Tank's hit list. It's Tank's hit list, and they know who they are. They know that he don't see when you're the top dog. You ain't got to call guys out. Everybody, I've heard some of the media people and the fans say, "Well, he don't call. He ain't got to fucking call nobody out. He is the guy. He's the guy that everybody's gunning after. He ain't got to call none of these guys out. When you're the top guy, they come to you."
There was that old Reggie Jackson quote. He's the straw that stirs the drink. It's
he's the one that he's the one when you step in the ring with him, you're gonna make the most that you've made.
Mm-hmm. Very quickly, Leonard, Rolando Romero, another fighter under the Mayweather Promotions banner, unfortunately didn't look good in his last fight with Isaac Cruz. Curious as to what his comeback fight is going to look like. Maybe even that Ryan Garcia fight making it happen. What can we talk about with Rolando as far as his comeback?
Can't talk about it right now, but we've had some conversations about what his next move is gonna be. It's premature to talk about it. He's doing good. I'm excited to see him back.
Mm-hmm. Let's get back to June 15 really quickly. Why is this fight must-see TV?
Well, again, you have two of the biggest names in the entire sport fighting on the same card, same night, for one price. Okay? When you look at Tank Davis and you look at David Benavidez, you look at those two fighters and you know that both of those guys produce nothing but electricity, fireworks. Both of those guys, when they step in the ring, they're looking to give the fans an incredible show. And both of those guys deliver each and every time out. Tank, being a much smaller guy than David Benavidez, who on Tank, we know that Tank can do it all. He's a complete fighter. He can box, he can bang, he can do it all. Great defense. He can take a great shot. And then when you look at David Benavidez, he has some of the fastest hands, especially for a big man. He groups his shots in combinations, and he's looking to walk his guys down. He's looking to destroy his opponents, and he's just getting better and better each and every fight. So anytime that the fans are able to witness greatness like that, and then you add on a terrific fighter in Antuanne Russell, and then you also have another dominant fighter in Carlos Adames, you have an outstanding card from top to bottom. And this is what we want. This is what the fans clamoring for, is they want the best fighting the best, the top guys. They want entertainment. And I know for a fact that's what we're going to deliver next Saturday night.
Mm-hmm. And then with one of your up-and-coming stars, we got asked about Carmel Moten every time we talk because his career is developing very quickly. What's next on the calendar for Carmel, and when can we see him in the ring?
Stay tuned. Stay tuned for a big announcement.
Mm-hmm. And going back to the June 15 show with David Benavidez, he's fighting Canelo's former sparring partner, Gvozdyk, who is managed by Eddie Reynoso, obviously Canelo's coach and confidant. Do you think a dominant Benavidez win gets him the Canelo fight right after this?
That's a great question. We just have to wait and see. But one thing's for sure. I'm not buying that bullshit that he talking about Canelo scared of him. I'm not buying that. It's just a money thing. It's just a money thing.
Mm-hmm. Very curious. With Gervonta being a headliner and a star, would you consider putting him as a co-main event for a Benavidez Canelo kind of fight?
Tank Davis is no co-main event for nobody. Nobody.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Nobody in the entire sport. I don't give a fuck what card it is. Tank Davis ain't no co-feature to nobody.
Absolutely. I mean, he does put the butts in the seats, as they say, and you've continued.
You talking about the face of boxing? What the fuck he look like being a co-main event?
the two faces of boxing, and whoever has the more dominant.
Well, Canelo's my guy. He's had a long, outstanding run again where he's consistently proven himself, fight after fight after fight. He's the biggest star, definitely in his entire country and around the world, and one of the biggest stars in the entire sport. And he's been consistently doing that for a number of years. He's a great fighter and had a great career. You look at his resume, he's fought everybody, and he continues to show up and show out.
It's been also great to see the mutual respect Canelo and Floyd have had in recent years. It's been over 10 years since that fight happened, and Canelo has had a lot of mutual, given Floyd a lot of respect for that dominant win that he had, and kind of just helping him.
Vice versa too. It's a mutual respect. Yeah. Floyd has the utmost respect for him for being who he is, a great fighter.
How has it been? What has it been for you, like with Canelo fighting on these PBC headlining events, working up close and personal with Canelo? You've given a lot of respect and credit, but as you've gotten closer to the Canelo camp, how has that admiration grown from your side as well?
Yeah, I really have the utmost respect for both and for Canelo and Eddie. Again, they've been great for the sport, great for their country. And again, when you look at Canelo, I really have a great admiration for him. One is that I love the fact that he speaks more English now. You know, he's embraced the fans in the United States, and especially the fans in the African American community. They got a lot of love for Canelo, a lot of love for him, a lot of respect, and you know, and he's a great businessman. He's a great role model. You know, he's done wonders for the entire country. He's represented his country very well, and when it comes to the United States, I mean, he's delivered. He's done everything you can ask of a fighter. He's fought everybody.
Absolutely,
Lot of respect for him in and outside the ring.
What do you make of? There's been some parallels as well too. Like now that at this he's reached this stage of his career, he's handpicking the opponents, kind of taking a page out of Floyd Mayweather's playbook that he did towards the end of his career, just taking the guys that he wants to face. What do you make of that as well too? And the kind of picking and choosing the fights that he wants. You earn that, right? When you reach this level,
he's earned that. He's earned that. He's been fighting for a very, very long time, very, very long time, and he's given the fans everything that he has, laid it on the line, giving us some terrific fights over the years. So he's earned the right to pick whoever he wants to fight. He ain't got to fight nobody. He got to fight nobody.
Absolutely. And I think if we see Tank roll through the likes of Shakur, Haney, Teofimo, Lomachenko, all these guys, I think once he fights all those guys, I think Tank might just earn that right too, to pick and choose the guys he wants towards the later end of his career as well too.
Well, I can guarantee you this: Tank won't be picking and choosing none of that at no end of no career, because once he gets these guys, the handful of guys that y'all say is the top guys, Tank's gonna ride off into the sunset. He ain't gonna be sticking around. I guarantee you that.
Oh, so early retirement you're envisioning?
Well, I wouldn't call it early retirement. I would just call it as he has a hit list. He's gonna get those guys, and he's gonna walk away a very, 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 very wealthy young man at a very young age, and hoping and praying that he has all his faculties when he leaves the sport.
Sounds like Tank is here for a good time, not a long time, and
a good time. Now he has two beautiful young daughters that he's raising. So again, there is life after boxing. There's life after boxing. Absolutely. He's a good dad. I'm very proud of him. How he's matured from that perspective. Again, so I'm just excited what lies in front of him, in and outside of the ring.
Absolutely. And we talk about retirement, Leonard, a very fresh topic. Deontay Wilder, I know you've been very close with him throughout his entire career. What would your advice to Deontay be at this stage of his career after back-to-back losses and the last one being a vicious knockout?
I would do what's best for him. He's had a tremendous career. He got started very late in his career. So he is, when you actually put it in perspective on what he's been able to accomplish, man, he's done what he needed to do. You know, he's brought tremendous excitement to the heavyweight division. He's been a savior for the division. He was a knockout artist. He's done everything, and he's and he's made tens of millions of dollars. You know, got to give credit to early on, DeBella, definitely Al, obviously. He's got his career. Shelly Finkel. You guys have done a tremendous job with guiding his career and putting him in a position that he never has to work again in his entire life. And this is what it's all about. He got started late. He perfected a craft. He took it to a whole nother level. And he made a shitload of money. Again, he has nothing else to prove. So, but that's his decision. It's not mine. It's not the fans. It's his decision. When he feels as though, if he feels as though the time is now to walk away. But I personally don't like to see guys take punishment, especially at the latter part of their career, because again, a piece of you is always left when you step out of that ring. Every time you go into the ring, you're not the same person that comes out the ring. I don't care who you are. And boxing is a brutal, brutal sport. And all it takes is, one punch here, and again, your whole life is completely changed. And the key is to get in this sport and to become successful, meaning fight the best guys that are out there, and then make a lot of money, and then be able to go out and do whatever it is you want to do. Obviously, with being in a position to take care of your family. And that's what it's all about. Guys make the most money as they possibly can for each and every fight, and hopefully leave the sport with their health intact.